Chetna Verma is here among us. She's a young painter from the Delhi College of Art, and she's passed out recently. And now she's freelancing in Delhi and is here as part of the multimedia art workshop. And now we will speak to Chetna about her work, her influences, her experience in the workshop, and how she sees young artists' movement in India. Chetna, wonderful to have you with us.
Thank you, Parul.
Tell us a little about yourself and your...
As you'd introduced, I'm from Delhi, and coming to my works, I basically draw a lot of influence from the urban landscape of Delhi itself. My works and my drawings, I travel a lot on the roads because Delhi, you can't help it. You're always on the roads,
constantly
basically.
On the move.
Yes. So the road lines, the traffic lines, the signals and all, they really influence me a lot, because half of the time I'm not driving. So I'm always wandering, my thought, my eyes and everything is wandering on the road. So I think it started from here that the lines started coming into my works. And I was I guess I'm very thankful to my professor during my master's that he introduced me to artists like Selena Hashmi, Nasreen Mohammadi and their works, and I'm really thankful to it because that really helped me develop my works, the current style that I work in. It's basically very linear, very geometric, and I draw a lot of influences from the traffic signals and the street poles and the wires that follow you everywhere. So basically now I'm working on the concept of a point. Basically what is a line? It is a moving point, like a trace left by a moving point. So this is what I'm working on right now. Essentially,
that's your philosophy.
Yes.
Okay. So is the human or the figurative element
I don't
a part of...
No, not at all.
Not at all.
Completely and absolutely pure abstractionist. I don't believe in representing the human form with no offense to anybody.
No. And how would you describe abstraction in your work? How as an artist, as a painter?
Like the basic, the philosophy behind abstract art would be non-representational or non-object art is abstract art. So I think I've really taken it very seriously, the definition itself, and my works have no representation or no meaning towards it. Like people need to have a social message, or if somebody comes up to me and asks, what is the meaning behind this? If I have a yellow square and a red triangle placed next to each other. So I'm like, no, it's just pure aesthetic value. I mean, if you like it, I'm very happy. Even if you don't like it, it's fine with me. So for me, a work of art has to be aesthetically nice. Like when you look at it, either you like it or you don't.
You appreciate it.
Yes. That is so, I'm not trying to convey any meaning, any message through my work. No.
And you don't expect the audience also to decipher any meaning? No.
I don't. Whereas they do, like from my line drawing, somebody deciphered, I can see a bridge crawling along here. And probably, signals coming in. Though in abstraction, your main focus is you're not representing it, but it's my own language that I've developed. So if you want to draw an inference out of it, it's your choice.
Okay. Chetna, you talked about how you're on the roads a lot, and that's where your inspiration is from. So how does it work? It's very interesting to understand the process or the mind of an artist. So do you venture out on a journey that I'm going out, so I will do a work, or imagine something before you set out? What if you were to describe to someone like me who's not a painter, what is the process and how is the journey that takes you from point A in your line to point B? What is that line?
Someone very beautifully said that an artist's mind is like a photocopy machine. So, and they're quite sensitive, and I think it's always there at the back of your subconscious mind. It's not necessarily that I venture out on a journey with a preconceived notion that, I have to take inspiration from here, or I have to get inspired from here. I don't. It just happens, like I do not go with a concept that I need to work on these lines, or maybe the road lines and like the poles and all, wires, etc. I think subconsciously they are always there, and I abstract, I contort, and I distort those lines in my works.
Right. So it could be a collection or a collective memory of many days or
True.
months and years, and it then gets onto the paper or to the canvas. That's
very
how it
true.
works.
I think you've categorized it very well. Yeah.
Okay. And how would you describe yourself as a young artist in today's time where a lot of technology, multimedia, new influences of art are coming in, as we see in the present workshop also?
Yes.
You people are not as limited probably in mediums or exposure as probably 30 years back. So how has this...
I think a lot of artists like today, certain of them do have a burden that we need to be experimental in nature. We do not have to restrict ourselves only to canvas or to paper or sculpture as a medium. But yes, even I've been trying newer mediums. Like I'm into video art as well, like into animation. Last year I had a video installation at the India Art Fair where I used mediums such as animation, 2D and 3D both, and along with a video of mine. And this year I did a laser installation at the United Art Fair. So this is again moving beyond the limitations and the boundaries that a canvas or a paper offers you. So I think it's quite interesting how we are able to use technology in our work, because we are upgrading, like 30 years back we didn't even have a phone. So I would be a fool to say, okay, I'm not like, I'm obtuse to energy, the technology and all. No, I don't believe in that. I think if it helps my work, why not? I would love to use it.
Okay. And to come back to the present workshop, if you could talk about how working with different people who have different sensibilities, different ways of working, how has it enriched your work or your experience, and also a little about what you're doing right here?
Okay, I guess I'm very grateful to Lalit Kala to have organized such an workshop where everybody, all the members that are here are practicing some or the other medium, and obviously these are like synergies coming together, and you obviously at the end of the day you will go back home learning at least something new from here. So yes, I have learned my bit. I'm learning a little bit of 2D animation. I'm seeing my friend do it. Well, what I'm doing here is a laser light installation, though it won't be on a large scale because I don't have, there's limitation of resources and all, but I'll be using laser pointers and creating a matrix that I create on my papers.
Okay.
So it'll somewhat reflect that. I'll also complement it with a few of my drawings outside it.
Okay.
So I think it's a wonderful opportunity for all of us to explore. I think to explore beyond our limitations. Okay. So it's a wonderful experience.
So this will be a combination of drawings as well as laser, which you will get together for the audience.
Yes.
Which comes to the point of resources. How do young artists like you, who are freelancing and who don't have regular jobs, so what is the, where does the financial part come into art? Does it ever bother you, or does it limit you that you are freelancers? So how does it work?
That's a secret. No, I think, as a freelance artist, it's very difficult. First of all, the materials are expensive.
Yes.
And all the time you want to improve the quality of your works, by using nicer and better material that is available in the market. So I think I've been fortunate enough to have collected some money through my works. I've been selling them on and off. I'm tied up to certain galleries in Delhi as well. So on a regular basis my work go there on commission basis. So if God is kind enough, I do get some income from that. As well as I also have I give out some lectures, not at college level, but certain schools and all. I do art appreciation courses. It's just a one-day workshop. For me, going every day to a college or to a school is very monotonous.
Yes.
So maybe once in a month, on the request of the school, that is also. And if I have time, yes, I'd love to go give art appreciation lectures. I believe art has to, in India especially, it has to start at that level.
At the school level, yes. Because most of the people, when they look at new works or new media works, they're sometimes kind of scared because they say, we don't understand it. So, and if we start at the earlier level, it would be great.
Very true, because the acceptance levels and knowledge, etc. I mean, it's very sad. We don't even know the heroes of our Indian art. I mean, it's a big field, and people think art and artists are just people who probably couldn't get admission anywhere else doing this. So I think we only it's people like us who could help change.
Right. So when you talk to your professors or people who are generations behind you, what kind of feedbacks do you get from them, and what are your influences of today's artists? Who has influenced you in terms of people today, and the younger artists, of course, also your own colleagues?
Yeah.
If you could.
As I said, that I'm greatly influenced by Nasreen ji and Selena ji's works. Nasreen ji is no more between us. Yes. But I guess I was fortunate enough to meet Selena Hashmi on her last visit to India. Okay. And that was like a blessing in disguise. At length, I spoke to her regarding my works. And because, like, she also includes maps and architectural maps. Basically, she's traveled a lot for her work. So she includes, inferences from the rooms or the places that she stayed from. Right. So we spoke at length. I showed her my works also, and it was quite a nice experience, And these people really do have a lot to tell you, and it's for up to us how much we can gain and grasp from it. Right. So she was quite helpful. And again, like in college, we had a professor, Abhimanyu Viji. He was very kind to me. And he really guided me on and off. Like, I would also go like, okay, I'm stuck here. Should I do this? Should I do that? So that way, I think we've been kind enough to have good teachers and good professors around us. Right. And certain senior artists are also very kind. And like I've been in touch with some curators and critics. Yes, and when they do critic, it's very nice. Okay. Because especially in metropolitan cities, people they want to be politically correct.
Yes.
So we've been lucky enough to avoid that and basically come to the reality.
Chetna, if you could map for us your artistic journey so far in terms of work that you have done, and if you could, describe a little in detail about a few works that the philosophy, the mediums used, the process of it, and how you have grown also in the process, and how you have changed also in terms, I'm sure you must have seen your art changing from when you began to right now. So a little about that.
There are certain works on canvases in which I completely work with geometric idiom. So I call them like hard edge geometric abstraction. So yes, like initially when I was doing works, they were geometric, but they were not hard edged. So you could say, yes, I have moved on from being a little less precise to being more precise in my geometrical abstraction. My canvases are like, I think they're a palette of very, very vibrant colors. Okay. And I play with shapes. So that's what you'll see in the slides as well. Like they're absolutely geometric. And currently what I'm doing now in my canvases is what? I'm trying to play with recession and accession, Okay. So what I'm doing is I'm breaking my work, say, into a set of 4 canvases. Okay. So if it's like a 5 feet by 4 feet canvas, so it'll have 4 different canvases, 2.5 by 1.5.
All in one frame.
In one frame. Okay. Out of which either one of them will be jutting out. Achha. And rest 3 would be not jutting out. And the one jutting out will, again, maybe the design would be the same, but the colors would change so that, it leaves an impression that it's coming out. And then there's this another work of mine that is called the red, white and pink. So again, I'm very much this thing, like my names are very simple, and so are the abstractions and the compositions are very simple. So now what I'm doing is I'm breaking my works. I'm playing with coming forward, going backwards and all. And then on lines, yes, I'm introducing road maps into my line drawings. Okay. So that's very recent. A little bit of stitch maybe, okay. Like running stitch. Okay. And then there is this another type of works that I do are paper on paper. Okay. So basically, I think I'm a big fan of white. Per se. So this particular series is called Blanc sur Blanc. So that's French for white on white.
White on white. Okay, yeah. Interesting.
So yeah. And so I'm working with overlayering paper. Again, it's the same concept with like in canvas, like recession and accession. So there are shapes and triangles and circles cut onto paper, and they're stuck onto each other. So creating a depth of its own, Okay. So creating its own composition and that overlayering and all.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And over the years, how have you changed? As in, artist in terms of philosophy and subjects? You talked about how you've changed with material. So how have you changed?
I think I've become more specific with my work. I know what my work commands, what it demands.
Right.
And, there's this lady who basically deals in art, and she tells me that, you don't have many takers for your art. So I told her, I have tasted my art. And I really know, the kind of people, or it's not important for me to sell, but yes, it's important for me to people to appreciate my work. So that's what I told, I've tasted my art, and I know the kind of people who like it. I'm more than happy with that.
Right.
So it's not like, Kela or Aloo for me, ki I wanted in 20 different houses. No. Selected people, yes. People who are some people, like connoisseurs of art, yes, they do love these kind of artworks.
Right.
So, yeah.
And what do you see yourself, or where do you see yourself 10 years from now? In terms of any specific projects that you have in mind, a dream project, as writers, we have this dream book inside our belly. Yeah. So I'm sure as artists and painters, is there any specific...
I think it's a common goal all of us have. We have dream galleries for, in mind. Yeah, this is the gallery I want to be linked with.
Yes.
And this is where I see myself, probably in some museum hanging there. So yeah, as an artist, of course, I do have these dreams, maybe 1 or 2 residencies abroad as well, experience and taste the art abroad, because it's very different. And I feel as an artist, you need to know your surroundings as well,
Right.
So, yes, certain residencies out of India and certain galleries that I really like. I would love to be associated with them.
Which would be, if you were to name them?
In Delhi, it would be Palette. That's I don't know, I love the sensibilities of that gallery, because the kind of artists they represent it's very nice. And then there is Exhibit 320 again. They're into very modernistic, and they're into experimental works, which is for an artist, it's very good.
So private galleries help younger artists to both promote as well as sell works?
It depends. It completely depends on... there are galleries who are essentially commercial.
Okay.
So,
which are specifically for this purpose.
If you are a particular artist, yes, I'm more than willing to have you on board. So let's see.
Okay.
Maybe I do reach that particular level. Yes.
Chetna, in your works over the years, what are the influences of Western art? If you would like to, you say you travel a lot and you're on the road, and so how does Western art influence your work as well as your subjects?
I think abstraction owes its existence, the very existence, from Western art itself. So yes, I'm very much influenced by Western art and artists. It was, I believe, the post-World War II, that is when the artists started shifting towards modernism or abstraction in art. It was basically, it was an afterthought, that's when they realized that they were distraught, after the World Wars, the mental scenario of the artists who had actually seen it, who were in them. So a lot of artists from Paris shifted to America, and that's where abstraction basically started to happen. And for me, the artists, I really love the German Bauhaus, that particular moment, because they were into simple, straight, and absolutely clean. Yeah.
Yes.
Be it furniture, be it buildings. I think a lot of Chandigarh, architecture is also very Bauhaus in its this thing. So one city that I really love. So so coming back to German Bauhaus, I love their simplicity and absolutely perfectionism in their design. So for me, I really follow Mondrian as an artist. His works are, he works on the principles of geometry and the basic 3 colors in art, the primary colors. That is what he works with. And I also like Kandinsky. Kandinsky is again a German artist, and he played a lot with shapes and music. That's when the jazz movement was starting in music, and jazz is basically, which is not something which is very smooth, so it has beats going up and down. So similarly in Kandinsky's art, he was playing with shapes which were going up and down, they were not following a certain symmetry or a pattern. And he had associated meanings with triangles. If the triangle is pointing upwards, so that means you're going...
The note is... the
note, yes. And in his own, this thing, he would mean as जैसे वो बोलते हैं जैसे आप रस रसा बोलते हैं, तो जैसे आप जैसे आप उस आर्ट में लीन होते जाएंगे, वैसे आपका जो मतलब मानसिक और उस पूरे आप you'll connect and you'll be elevated in that work of art. So he had those kind of meanings in his art. So I basically did a dissertation on Kandinsky and his art, and my first was on abstraction. So yeah, like I really like the German art scene, yes. And then coming to American abstraction, I really like Mark Rothko. Again, he was playing with delineated plain surfaces, you know, and colors, and again it was basically reflecting a very morose the kind of situation they were in. But for me, I think that particular work is brilliant. Like it's like a plain surface, let's say, of black color, and somewhere you have some orange shape coming in from there. So it's very nice. And then I really love Jackson Pollock. He was known for his action paintings. So for him, he would work on a huge piece of canvas and he would paint all over on it. Like they were also known as action as well as all over paintings. He would walk on the canvases. So I really like that strength of the artist, you know, like the guts to just walk over and do his thing, you know. So yes, I'm a lot of influenced by Western art.
Right. And does the current Indian art scene or the commerce of Indian art affect your work as well? Would you, for instance, do something which is really popular, or no? Just because you may be able to sell it more, or you may be able to get more reviews, good reviews out of it. So would you, as an artist, do
I think, I'm sorry, I need to be in that race first, like like in that mainstream race. Yes, I'm yet to be there exactly. But you know, there's this term that runs in Ladusrai, that's like the main hub of galleries in Delhi, cutting edge art. So cutting edge, जो किसी को समझ ना आए, जो आपने कुछ भी करा है, so that is cutting edge, and it creates a controversy, you know, in art. I don't think I want to do that. No, I don't want to be someone, you know, who's just doing it for the heck of it. Like I'm doing laser, yes, because it totally coincides and complements my drawings. So for me, that is my cutting edge. I don't want to be known for some random thing that I do and which does not relate to me and to my art. So no, but yes, the current scene in Delhi, people do ape Western concepts and all, which is very sad actually. But Delhi as an art scene is, I think it's brilliant. We have a lot of openings, and a lot of people do visit these openings as well, so which is very good.
So you've seen a shift and you've seen an increase in over the years.
Yes, I have. A lot of people are now they're becoming sensitive towards art. But I think what Delhi lacks is public art.
Right.
I don't know about the whole of India because I haven't traveled everywhere, but I would really like to point out that yes, Delhi lacks public art. I think if we have more places and more art at places,
outdoor spaces,
outdoors, yes. There is this one very good work done by Supod Gupta.
Right.
It's called the Mushroom. I think it's the Mushroom Cloud or something. So, which is again done inside a mall.
Yes, we heard about that. Yes.
I know. Like, I feel so bad. You know, like, okay, Kiran Nadar is spending money on this installation. Why didn't she install it outside?
In a park,
Yes, like, even if it's outside that mall, why not? Like, you know, make it more weatherproof and have it there. People will see it. I mean, we need to sensitize people towards art.
To a wider audience, probably introduce a wider audience to art.
Yes.
So, which brings us to a question: how do you look at art as a painter? When you go to galleries and you look at art, what do you see? I
think over the years I've become very narcissist. Very narcissist. I mean, I'm very open if I like it or if I don't like it.
Right.
I mean, I think I shouldn't be like this. You know, it's very sad. I should not be commenting on somebody else's art. But I'm very clear. If I like an artwork, I like it. If I don't, I don't.
Okay.
So I don't know.
What makes it work for you? What makes an artwork work for you? How do you feel?
Be it realistic or non-representational, I think aesthetically it has to appeal to me. I'm not looking for meanings. I don't like artworks which have theory written in it, like if they'll write words.
A lot of text is being used in art.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like if I want to read a text, I'll pick up a book. I don't want my artwork to have text in it. Maybe this is some old funda in me, like I don't know, which is not breaking. So it has to be aesthetically beautiful to me, you know, be it the colors, the shape, or even for that matter, the treatment of a figure or something. It has to be aesthetically pleasant and nice for me, yes.
Right.
Like, for example, I really like Bratan Khan. I mean, he is an artist who works entirely onto mythological works. Like, he'll do Krishna series and lotuses. The treatment is so sensitive in his works. It's so beautiful. It just draws you towards it.
Okay.
So I wouldn't say that I am not into representational. Yeah, I love his works, yes.
And where do you see the Indian or the modern Indian art movement at the present juncture? So where do you see it going? As a young artist, when you see your own colleagues and contemporaries, what is the kind of...
I think we are heading ahead. But I think if we stop aping the West, we can do much better.
Okay.
Yes.
So we all have to probably have our own sensibilities come into play rather than being imitated.
Like what I said, the cutting edge issue, you know. So they're just doing art for the heck of it. Like there was this certain art that I saw. It had a script, a telephone conversation written on a script and put on the wall. I didn't understand it. Sorry. So it's just basically doing what somebody might have done in the past, and it gave a name to that person. So I think we need to realize that, like, you know, it's not everything that art is all about, and I think we need to go back to our basics, really.
Okay.
Not like Indian art, but yeah, the basics of what art is.
Right.
You know, and stop doing like for the heck of it. You know, that is my message would be that. Yeah.
Okay. The very last question to you. You were part of the recent art fair. So, what is the kind of role or what is the kind of stature or position that these art fairs have for artists, both young as well as old? Where do you see yourself or the art fairs fitting in the art scene?
Okay, first I'll come to India Art Fair. Now, being a part of the India Art Fair, you need to be associated with a gallery.
Right.
Now, for example, a gallery is spending some lakhs to have a stall in the India Art Fair. It is very rare that the gallery would want to support a young artist. So, from that perspective, you go into minus.
Right.
Like from my perspective, you know, it's very difficult for a person like a young artist like me to break through. So. And then the other art fair that has just happened, the United Art Fair, as they say, it's an artist-driven fair. So I think it's a very brilliant step taken by the organizers that, you know, you either pay or you probably give them a work and you be part of a platform like this whereby people from all streams and all walks of life would come and look at your works. So I think that is also good, but they just a little bit on the management issue, if they can invite more galleries for us, because at the end you need to be associated with galleries. I cannot be in the market on my own.
Okay.
So India Art Fair currently, I wish they support younger artists, or probably they have a separate section where they can just invite some entries, and if they like, you know, they could have those artists. And UAF, yes, it's an artist-driven fair, so which is good for younger artists, yes.
And a lot of young artists are now have their own groups, and you know, they're making this initiative to probably get together and do something on their own and not entirely depend on the bigger people or the galleries. So what about these movements?
I think the shelf life of these movements is very less.
Less, okay.
Yeah, unless you have the resources or somebody supporting you, you can survive for maybe 2 years, 3 years, yes. But after that, you cannot survive.
It's tough.
I mean, like, if you do a show, like our friends over here have done a show, you need to invite the media, you're doing an opening, you're having
you have to pay the
XYZ
gallery.
things, you're paying the gallery, you're getting your works, you're framing them. So the cost expands, you know, like invariably to a very high amount. So you can make a group that's well and good, but the shelf life practically won't survive for long.
Okay.
So that's Delhi for you.
Thanks, Chetna. Thanks so much.